So yeah. Firstly, I agree with what you said, Dale, a couple of moments ago that the Steam looks just blank without any proper sales on.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, just look at it.
barren.
I don't know. It's interesting to look at this, though, I think, because there was the Christmas sale recently, and everyone was whinging that, the sale wasn't actually that good, or when all the discounts were there, no one was buying anything. I don't know. Did anyone else get anything great in the sale? Because I bought, a couple of things. I mean, they were fine. I got, Beat Hazard, and that's quite fun.
Yeah.
But, I mean, did you pick up anything huge?
Go on, Dale, you go first.
Serious Sam, I picked that up, the new one. It's excellent. But that's it. Got it at half price, and that's the only game I bought.
Was that really the only game you bought?
Only game.
I bought my first ever Assassin's Creed game.
We
Yeah,
don't
I
have
know.
time to list all the games that you bought.
Yeah, I know, but I did buy a lot for D22 Zone, but that's
did.
because they're like £1.50 or whatever.
Nice and nifty.
Yeah, no, I for myself. Oh, F1 2011, I did buy that as well. But no, that Assassin's Creed game, I think it was Assassin's Creed 2. I think it's not Revelations. It's the
No,
one
Assassin's
before.
Creed Revelations is 4. The fourth one.
I've heard though that this one is the best one. So
But you've not played any of them in the series, then?
I haven't played any of them. Not one.
I've
So,
played the first, and I think I've got a couple of others sitting in my Steam account, but you know what? I kind of can't be arsed, actually, after
The
the
first
first.
one was shocking.
That
yeah.
sums up Steve.
Is it really? Is it really that bad?
Well, the first one is it's kind of rough around the edges.
It's
Like,
just
there's
very
some good ideas in
repetitive.
there, but it's really repetitive. Like the second one onwards, try and break up the monotony of doing all this stuff. But then at the
Yeah.
same time, I think because I played the second one quite a lot, but it felt like I wasn't really doing anything. Like there's a lot of filler.
What about you, Alex? What did you buy?
I didn't buy a single thing in the sale.
What?
That
is
is iron self-restraint.
Yeah, that is.
Sounds like a man who was addicted to Skyrim over the course
Yeah.
of the Steam sales period.
Pretty much.
Speaking of
How
Skyrim,
many hours?
Hang on, let me just pull it up for you.
Oh god.
I'm putting money down on over 200 hours.
170. Come on,
Say
mate.
111.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
But then I
impressive.
stopped. That 105 were within the first 2 weeks of it being launched. So
Oh my god.
No,
Okay,
he
but
means the
let me
first
ask you something, though. Have you completed the main quest yet?
yes,
That's quite
Nice,
impressive.
that's
Because I've
impressive.
poured hundreds of hours into Bethesda games, all of them throughout. I mean, Fallout series and the Elder Scrolls series. I've never once completed a main quest in any of them. That's not for want of trying or anything. I'm not sort of specifically trying to avoid completing the main quests in these games. I just
but
always
there's so
find
much to
something
do
else to
everywhere
do.
else.
Yeah. I think that's why one of the main reasons, though, and this comes on to our first pointer, is why a lot of us who have bought Skyrim don't play it as much as when it first came out. Now, personally, it's because when I join a Skyrim game now, when I go into my world, I have no idea where to start. I've just lost everything, and the same with my motivation, really, just to what the hell's going on, what am I doing again, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've got 1,000 quests in your journal, and compass points everywhere, and you're just sort of paralysed by choice, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if it's because of its lasting appeal, but for me, it's the whole idea of you're really just lost. Like I'm lost if I go into Skyrim again. It's like I'd prefer to just start over again, start the story, but then I don't because I've already been through all of that stuff. So
Also, you lose all your stuff. Your
Yeah,
precious
exactly.
stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what I did, because there's so much choice of stuff you can do. I kind of make a story for myself, and I kind of role play a little bit. And I made kind of like a hellbent pyromancer, and just literally destroying. I burn everyone.
yeah.
That's what I like to do.
He does. I've seen him play.
Nice.
But I think it's important to have a goal and what you want to do. Like, I always wanted to be a student at the academy, and so I thought, well, why not? I'll just go to Winterhold, see what's there. And it turned out Well, if anyone's done the quest, you know what happens.
Well,
See,
I think the problem I have is I do the same. So I found the Dark Brotherhood straight away. And I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then by the time the quest log came to an end, I was like, well, that was my character. Like, I was a Dark Brotherhood member. I'm now a leader of the Dark Brotherhood. And now why am I going to go and be a level 1 member of the Thieves Guild? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
The other problem, of course, is just consistency. I mean, I started off trying to kind of roleplay a character, my sort of like elf hunter roaming the wilds kind of thing, and a lot of that was stymied by the fact that I really wanted to join up with the kind of the nationalist Nord faction, and then you go to their stronghold and they're all like, "Hi, we hate elves, fuck off." But I found the real problem actually was then I kind of got sucked into the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood quests.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't really feel like that was what my character would do, but it was what my character was good at. And these quests turned up, and it's like, yeah, I kind of want the stuff you're offering, like the armor with the sneak bonus and that kind of thing, and all that sort of trading and that kind of mission is what I'm spec towards. But I'm being a bastard. I'm like killing innocents and stealing stuff off people and intimidating them and like calling in debts. And I'm a horrible person now. When did that happen?
Yeah, I think it sort of uncovers your true inner self almost.
Yeah,
Things like
like
that.
for a game that relies so heavily on role playing and stuff, there's not a lot of meaningful choice in a lot of this stuff. Like in the Dark Brotherhood, there's optional things that you can do, but I mean, your mission is to assassinate someone. That's it. And then
there's
you
never
kind of
any
don't have.
there's
Yeah,
never any
exactly.
attempt to sugarcoat it. It's never, oh, like this guy's a bastard and needs to die because the world's better off without him.
I preferred the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood
Yeah,
quests,
I
which
did as well.
gave you sort of the extra incentive to try and do it in a specific way.
In
Yeah,
a way,
that's true.
it's
That
kind
was-
of too
that was cool.
similar. So for those that have done both, there comes a point in kind of both storylines where the Dark Brotherhood kind of implodes on itself. And like for me, it was too similar in Skyrim. Like
Mm.
it felt it came at the exact same point mission-wise.
Well, like for me, I kind of lost track of. For me, I just lost track of what quests I was doing and what I was doing. And I think that's probably down to me just being lazy and not reading exactly every part of the quest log or whatever. And I refer to Guild Wars in this case. Guild Wars was something that you could pick up by just watching the storyline. Like in the various cutscenes, and it was pretty much very directed, which Skyrim really, isn't as much. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I've lost interest in it, and I haven't gone back to it, is because I personally haven't found that there's enough direction in it.
The difference, I guess, is that in Guild Wars, the plot line was kind of anchored to the geography. So as you moved on through the world and went to higher level areas and that kind of thing, then the storyline was kind of following you around. So you'd always be coming back to the storyline and always be progressing in it, no matter how many pointless side sort of fetch quests you went off and did. Whereas in Skyrim, you could kind of be anywhere, be any level, and you could be doing a fetch quest where you're going to go get some wizard's soul gem that she's left somewhere, and also trying to kill the rise of the infinite ancient dragons or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it really suffers from pacing and a kind of a sense of place as well, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think by giving you the option to kind of do everything, I'm much the same as Jason in that I'll load it up, look at my quest log and think, okay, well, I've been told that dragons are destroying the world, so that's a pressing matter. But then I could go and not do that for 200 hours, and then, there's no urgency to the game, so as such, I don't feel any pressure to do anything.
I know exactly what you mean. Exactly, but that's why Baldur's Gate 2 got it so right with that, where if there was a quest and people would leave you to go do what they want to do, so your party members were kind of dynamic in that way, and they were really alive. And like you said, like dragons would destroy the world because it's going to happen. But in this, you can just leave it, and it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I guess it's the freedom to do what you want in the game.
it brings me back to Batman Arkham City, which I've been playing this week. Gonna try and type a review and get it onto the site
Good.
soonish. And it is good.
I enjoyed Arkham City.
It has the same issue, but on a kind of a lesser scale, where the main storyline has this sense of incredible urgency, like, you know, sort of the ticking clock is going on in the background, and without wanting to wave spoilers around too much.
You've got a person shouting out a certain time left in the background, but it doesn't actually count down until you do story missions, and so you've got the urgency without actually needing to do the story.
Precisely. The main story, the main plotline should have some urgency. It's all artificial, though, and you've got all of these kind of Riddler trophies and like people getting beat up on the streets and millions of other side quests distracting you at the same time. And I don't know, Arkham City like it carries that off a bit better, I think, than Skyrim does. Perhaps because it's just a bit more contained. Perhaps because, I mean, in Arkham City, the major storyline is definitely the major storyline. There's no equivalent of like the Dark Brotherhood. You can go off and pursue this whole other quest structure that's going to distract you because it's more interesting or something. The side quests are very much sort of bit part kind of things.
Out of curiosity, this sounds like a stupid question, but like, because you mentioned that the story in Arkham City is a lot more directed. I can't remember what the main story of Skyrim is, sorry. I remember at the start, you're about to be beheaded and a dragon attacks. And the next thing I knew, I was 20 hours into the game, and I didn't know what I was doing.
In Skyrim, that dragon that attacked you essentially set you free. The storyline is to try and kill him.
Oh. Okay.
That doesn't seem like a very grateful thing
No.
to do.
Well,
I mean,
it's not very grateful, but it's kill him or let him devour the souls of everything in the world.
Tough choice. Tough choice.
Wow.
Okay, I've got to be a bit of a Dave Dimbleby here and move on to our second point. Here's the host of Question Time.
Nice, relevant.
Just to let you guys know. So yeah, our next point is Dark Souls, and recently Bandai Namco put a forum post, one of their employees put a forum post up saying that it may be possible to move Dark Souls onto the PC platform. Now, let's say that they do that. What would you guys want changing in Dark Souls for the PC that the console version has failed on? Max, go.
I think there's very little that you could change without changing the game fundamentally. The only thing I think that would benefit, well, it's a thing that like all PC versions of games benefit from, is being on better spec hardware.
Yeah.
So like all the instances in Dark Souls where you're looking at a low frame rate, like Blighttown, would all of a sudden be running at 60 FPS.
Well, that is one of the main issues, isn't it? Really, they call it 10 FPS town, don't they?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I've pointed up on, and it certainly affects me, is that the multiplayer use of it. You know, Dark Souls, like me and Dell, sometimes have trouble connecting, and
I'm not sure that will be affected at all by the PC version. To me, that seems more like a design choice. Because to be honest, I think if you could find friends instantly to do it, it would be so much easier.
It makes it too easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Dark Souls. I like ball-busting difficulty. That's what I come to it.
Because, I mean, just look at the co-op we did yesterday. Like,
yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Like, my character is, I'm looking at it now, 3 hours old.
Oh.
And, yeah, it's like, and it's got pro gear, it's level 26 after 3 hours. Like, we've beaten 2 bosses. Like,
well, that's definitely another thing then we can highlight on, is that in co-op and multiplayer mode, they have to up the level of the bosses to make it more challenging, or give you the choice to do that.
Well, again, like Max said, that's a design thing. But I wholeheartedly agree, though.
Sure. And what about Ben and Alex? Have you guys played Dark Souls yet? Or
I can't say I have.
I've actually not played Dark Souls. I didn't play the predecessor either. I don't actually own a PS3. Confession time. But I'm kind of curious because I hear a lot about the sort of the multiplayer kind of aspects coming in. Is this something which depends really heavily on the whole sort of PSN, Xbox Live kind of network? Are they going to have to program their own in-house version of that?
Not necessarily. As far as I'm
hold
aware, like it's all kind of server side. So basically, if you like, there's a lot of like kind of hold-ups that would stop people doing like the multiplayer. Like there's loads of stipulations that you have to meet, and loads of requirements. But basically, you drop a soul sign on the floor, like you get an item which means that allows you to do co-op. So you drop your item on the floor, and other players can see that sign on the floor, and they can summon you to their world. Is basically how it works. But then obviously you have to be within a specific level range of one another. Then there's like the bosses to factor in. Like if you've killed a boss, you can no longer summon people to that particular like level.
It works another way as well as helping people. You can be a bit of a git, and you can invade other people's worlds.
Right, so there's a potential for it to get a bit griefy.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the fun of it. I mean, you can lay messages down on the floor, which can either help people or just be a bit of an idiot. I mean,
yeah, like there could be a dead end, for example, like a cliff face, like a sheer cliff drop, and there could be a sign at the top saying "Treasure ahead, try jumping."
there
And
might
like
be.
the thing
Who
is,
knows?
in the predecessor at least, in Demon Souls, I relied a lot more on the signs on the floor because I didn't know what I was doing. So if there was a sign on the floor that said "Turn left," I was turning left. But in this, because I played Demon Souls, obviously I've got a lot more of an idea of what to do by myself. So if they could find a way of like reintroducing like that kind of thing, like only high-ranking messages get left and that kind of thing, because some of them are stupid, but and as Nell says, like, some people will. Yeah, there's a lot of
that. Okay. On the last point and topic, I don't know if anyone else wants to bring anything else up, but Guild Wars 2 is obviously going to be, if it is released this year, which I hope it is.
Have they actually given a kind of a firm release date on that, or are they still saying, like when it's done?
I think it's the 10th of when it's ready.
Yeah. So I guess everyone's looking forward to it, but the main question is,
no.
What character are you going to go?
Guardian, shotgun. See you there.
So
Shotgun.
I called it before you, man.
I was born.
Well,
before
interestingly, I played the
Char
engineer
Warrior
at Gamescom, and I thought, oh yeah, definitely going this, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. It's I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
well, I was watching a video today. I posted it. None of you guys were around actually. It was a half-hour video of the Char starting area, and I'm still not sold on a lot of Guild Wars 2 actually. So like, as someone who played a lot of the first one of my favourite things, as Glove will know, is when you're in a group, like a tightly knit group. Like you've got your tactics down to a T, and it's about positioning, it's about timing of skills, it's about skill usage, it's about all of this. I haven't seen that in Guild Wars 2 yet, and it worries me. Like there's a lot of like huge groups of mobs, like loads of auto attacking. Like it looks like a WoW raid at the moment.
But are you seeing like a low level area, or are you seeing a high level area? Because if memory serves, a lot of the tactics in Guild Wars really didn't show until you got to the really high level PvE stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, like, it's a concern, but like one that they can't really quell until they show that kind of stuff. But the problem I have specifically is because they've talked about getting rid of kind of like the tent poles of the MMO industry with like tanks, healers, and support being like that, holy trinity that they've decided to get rid of. It makes it seem to me like parties will be directionless. Like if everyone can heal and everyone can tank in equal measure, which is what they've said, then it seems like there will be no reason to be specific classes if everyone can do everything. I mean, obviously it won't be. Like, I think people will still work out what the best tank is and what the best healing class is.
Also, I think what they mean is not that everyone can do everything, it's more that if you're in a group and you're playing of an evening, then you can, and you've got, I don't know, 3 monks turn up or something, then you can still go and have fun. Sorry, you don't have monks in Guild Wars 2, but for instance, then you can still go and have fun and actually play a PvE game by building 2 of them into like a tank and a DPS, rather than just be stuck and be sat there waiting in a lobby like, LFG.
Yeah, that was obviously one of the worst things about MMOs.
I think for me, sorry to butt in, but
no, that's right.
For me, the thing I love about Guild Wars is that they've added new content in. So they've added three expansions and just a load of content. But the main reason is what I enjoy about it is that they've kept it simple. It hasn't got any more complicated. When the Norn, Azura, and Char areas came out in either North, sure, that was an upstep in sort of being able to read quests and actually take the story in, but it still kept its simplicity there. You had 3 areas, you had your main quest log, you had the choice if you wanted to do other quests, the quest logs weren't complicated at all. You could just read them. Oh yeah, done. Yeah, sure. It was more of a relaxation thing for me, Guild Wars. Apart from Underworld, that was pretty stressful. Oh man, the days in Underworld.
No, I agree. I think the appeal of Guild Wars to me is its simplicity. So, much the same reason when we were talking about Skyrim, because there's so many things that you can do, I end up not doing anything. But on something like WoW, it's similar. So, if I'm in a zone on WoW, I think, well, I could just grind on some quests and not really do anything. But with Guild Wars, because it's a bit more directed, you think, well, I can do a mission. I can do a quest if I want. I can go here and get a specific skill for my build. And because build are only 8 skills, it's a much more important activity.
That's right,
getting skills for that bar.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love doing that. And I remember at a point where we was getting to, that was knowing the skills off by heart, was getting to the idea of actually creating our own skill set. Obviously, we didn't do it, but we got to that point in the game. And that shows that you're pretty immersed in it, creating your own skill sets and such.
That kind of build your skills from a deck mechanic was easily Guild Wars' greatest contribution to the RPG sort of MMO genre, I think. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Okay then, I don't know if anyone else has anything to say or discuss.
I think we're good.
I think on our next podcast, if anyone wants to put any comments in the YouTube section below, by all means do that, and we'll have a chat about them in the next one. So,
fair enough. Rounded up there.
That's right, yeah.
Enjoy.
Signing off.
What are you all going to go play now?
I wonder.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Bye.